My name is Alex. I'm 43 years old. This is my story. For years, I tried my hardest to build a good life for my wife, who's 38, our two wonderful kids, now 3 and 5, and even my mother-in-law who lives with us. I truly believed I was doing everything right to provide for them. I grew up without much. So making sure my family had what they needed was everything to me. I worked incredibly hard. Years ago, I earned my first college degree. Later on, while working 2 full-time jobs, I went back to school online. I earned a second degree in a STEM field. Why 2 jobs? Because I was also paying for my wife to go back to school. She earned a degree in healthcare, a field with good, steady jobs paying around $60,000 to $70,000 a year. After our kids were born, she decided to stay home full-time as a mom. I supported that choice. Money was tight, especially while I was finishing my master's degree. But once I earned that, my career took a big step forward. Now, I earn a little over $150,000 a year, including bonuses. We aren't rich, but we are comfortable living on my income alone. Even though I mostly work from home now, my wife felt overwhelmed last year. So, I hired a daytime nanny to help her, especially since our youngest was home while the oldest was in school. My day starts very early, at 5:30 or 6 a.m. every single morning. I get the house ready, wake up our oldest child, make breakfast, plan my workday, drive our child to school, and am back by 8 a.m. to let the nanny in. My job is demanding. I manage teams around the world and am in meetings constantly. About a month and a half after starting to work fully from home, I noticed something. My wife was sleeping until 10 a.m. most days. I gently asked the nanny and my mother-in-law about it. They confirmed it was usually true. She would wake up, cook a meal, and then spend hours on her phone, shopping or scrolling. I want to be clear. I was glad I could give her a comfortable life. We both grew up struggling. I understood she might be dealing with stress, feeling unfulfilled, or even postpartum depression. Her doctor suspected this after both births, though she refused therapy. But it started to hurt deeply. I handled everything. I managed all the family finances, paid all the bills, mine, hers, the house, even my mother-in-law's medical bills and car payment. I tracked appointments, fixed appliances, took care of our cars and pets. I did it all. Yet, I was constantly told my life was easy compared to hers. If I had a bad day, she insisted hers was worse. If my feet hurt from work travel, she claimed her standing to cook with a child nearby was harder. For 2 years, I heard how I ruined her life and her opportunities. When I would mention it later, she would deny ever saying it. I felt completely alone. My mother-in-law even pulled me aside once, worried about how distant my wife and I had become. I hugged our dogs more than I talked deeply with my wife. I felt like I was just surviving, one step away from a big promotion at work, and one step away from collapsing under the pressure. I tried talking to her. I tried expressing how drained and unappreciated I felt. It always turned into a competition. Her struggles were always bigger, she claimed. We had almost no intimacy, which I tried to understand, blaming stress or possible depression. Her contribution was cooking meals for everyone, which I appreciated, and some laundry and cleaning, shared with the nanny and my mother-in-law. I did the shopping, the organizing, the planning. Feeling desperate, I showed her something I wrote online about how I felt. It backfired badly. She got very angry, left to stay with her sister for over a week, and I managed the kids and home alone. When she returned, she acted like she had just popped out to the store. Then she yelled at me for not caring while I was on an important work call. That night, we talked, argued, cried, and even ended up in bed together. But the next morning, sober, it was the same old story. Her life was harder than mine. Her struggles were bigger. My heart broke completely. Later, pushed by family, we tried marriage counseling. It was awful. She blamed me entirely. She told the therapist I had ruined her life. She even said the last time she was truly happy was 12 years ago, before me, before our kids, when she was living a very different life with an ex-boyfriend. The therapist offered suggestions, but she ignored them. The final breaking point came on Father's Day. We had a family barbecue. My wife mostly sat on her phone or complained of feeling unwell while everyone else helped. At dinner, I was talking to my brother-in-law about a sweet breakfast with dad event at our child's school. I mentioned how sad it was to see some kids without their dads there. My wife suddenly laughed loudly. She said to the whole table, "It's not like you do anything anyway." I could have gone. The room went completely silent. My mother-in-law, trying to calm things, said quietly, "Well, maybe if you feel that way, One of you should divorce the other." My wife laughed mockingly. She pointed right at me and said, as if another woman would want a man like him, "Just look at you." I was stunned. I felt humiliated and heartbroken. I didn't yell. I just nodded, stood up, grabbed my keys, and walked out. My family and my kids called after me, but I needed to get away. I drove around, trying to process her cruelty. When I returned the next morning, the feeling in the house had changed. As I got ready for work, I looked at my wife sleeping. I realized the woman I married was gone. That morning, I texted my lawyer just 2 words: "Move forward." A week later, she was served divorce papers at home. She screamed. She accused me of turning her family against me. Her mother and sister have actually been supportive of me throughout this. She suddenly started acting like the perfect wife and mother. But it felt like too little, far too late. She had made attempts like this before that never lasted. I am aiming for full custody of our kids, or at least the majority. I will cover all their expenses, school, healthcare, everything. I will even help my mother-in-law with her medical treatments. She has been a rock, and I respect her deeply. My wife won't get alimony. She has the ability and qualifications to work a good job immediately. Our state rarely awards alimony in cases like this. I will help with her insurance and bills temporarily, but that is it. I am done suffering in silence. I did everything I could to hold us together, to support her, to be a good provider and father. But I cannot live without basic respect, kindness, or partnership. I need peace for myself and a healthy environment for my kids. This isn't the ending I wanted. But sometimes, walking away is the only way to stop the ruin. For me, and for my children. Thank you for listening.